can't believe I did that, to be honest.
Idiota.
Oh man. You know what? There'll be another blooper.
Oh dear. Blooper roopers.
Alright. Okay, I know we're live. I think we've got it.
Yep.
Just checking some last second things, ladies and gentlemen, before we get off and running. Just seeing,
I think we're live, yeah.
Yep, we're live. Alright, let's kick things off now. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Prospects eRacing League, as we are here for the PlayStation Division Tier 3 Round 6 at Netherlands here at Zandvoort for the Dutch Grand Prix. I am your commentator, Just Gaming, also known as Justin, and like last week, right, chappers?
Right, I'm back again with Justin in the comms box, but this time for the Tier 3 race instead of the Tier 2 race, so...
Honestly, good to have you back, my man. I was actually almost not able to attend this. I was almost not able to attend, but we made it just in time, like my name, and we'll get ourselves underway. But of course, here at Zandvoort, chappers, short qualifying with 36 laps. Very difficult track here at Zandvoort, would you say?
Yeah, I agree. It's a track that I do kind of struggle with a little bit. It is a very, very difficult track, a lot of banked corners, and it's very easy to spin here, especially on the curbs.
Yeah, it's going to be a very difficult one for every single one of these drivers. Of course, if you guys did miss it, we actually had Tier 1 and 2 of the PlayStation Division, both yesterday and on Monday. Of course, we actually had the PC tiers as well, and Xbox tiers will be coming up soon. So please, please, please get queued in on those. I want to see in the chat. So Mason being here as well. Welcome, my man. He says, hope to get more than 2 points today. Mondi as well in the chat. Space Cowboy. That's a new name. I don't recognize that name. Welcome to Prospects, my man. And then we have Simon Hutchin. I believe that is Chaos Druid that has changed his name. Good to have you in here. I believe that is the same symbol. But yeah, here at Zandvoort, as we will be starting off Tier 3 with a short qualifying, and I gotta say it, ladies and gentlemen, I was here yesterday for Tier 2 reserving. Finally, I got myself out on the track, but boy, was it a track that I regretted.
Certainly an interesting one to make your debut in, and such, definitely.
Yeah, it is a very difficult track. Of course, here, ladies and gentlemen, 14 corners make up the Circuit Zandvoort here for the Formula 1 Heineken Dutch Grand Prix of 2022. Here, presented by Prospects, as the first ever Grand Prix here was actually back in 1952. A very historic track of the F1 calendar. 4.2 kilometers make up the Zandvoort circuit. We're looking around a race distance of 153 kilometers here today, but of course starts off with qualifying. And actually, one thing I have noticed, actually, chappers, lap record here at Zandvoort by Lewis Hamilton in 2021 with a 111.097, where at Silverstone is actually led by Max Verstappen, of course, big rivals in the 2021 season. So it's a bit different, would you say, seeing both competitors actually getting the fastest lap, world record fastest laps in their respective tracks here at Zandvoort for Max Verstappen and Silverstone for Lewis Hamilton.
Yeah, it's certainly an interesting situation having the two basically have the roles reversed. You know, Lewis having the fastest lap at his rival's home race, and then Max having it at Lewis's home race. So it definitely is a strange coincidence, but yeah, it's certainly a cool fact to know.
Yep, and I'm looking at the chat as well. So, Space Cowboy is actually Mellowed Space, who's actually currently out there on the track representing the Red Bull team. And we're actually just on board with Bubbers, who actually had a little bit of a spin down towards turn 4, which is that that long, well, that kind of a you would call it like a smaller NASCAR corner, where you have that high elevation on the right side of the corner and taking another left turn like in NASCAR. But we're actually going to go on board with Mason as he does invalidate. So instead, we're actually going to go on board with Mark 7 God, as Cavo has is going to be receiving a quali ban here today. But Mark 7 God, as he now makes his way into Sector 3, now at turn 4 here, where you kind of want to take a wider line, and that actually shocked everyone last season, where we saw Max Verstappen actually taking a wider line around that corner to keep that momentum, as we now see Mark 7 God carry that momentum down towards turn 7 and 8, entering Sector 2 as well. Good time for the Aston driver, but honestly, what would you say, Chappers, is the most difficult part about this track? Is it the reaction times? Is it the elevation changes? Or is it a bit of a mixture?
I would probably say it's a little bit of a mixture because of the elevation change. It can unsettle the car, and it seems like once that car's rear kind of steps out, it's very, very difficult to kind of catch it. So the mixture of the two, you know, can make it an extremely tough track, an even more tougher track than it already is. So I would definitely say it's a mixture of both that kind of makes this quite a difficult circuit to master as such.
Definitely one of the most difficult tracks on the calendar, and Mark 7 God brings it home so far with a 113.1 on the set of mediums, so a pretty good time, as Tilmo actually does improve that on his set of mediums with a 112.8, and as time goes on, ladies and gentlemen, of course, as the time and the clocks ticks down, we're going to be seeing faster time to faster time. And of course, as the grip's going to be getting a little bit better, a little bit more bits of rubber out on the track, which is going to carry that Formula One car into all of these corners. And what would you actually say, as this track is like an overall difficult track and one of the most hated by the F1 community, as it's just well, not like the F1 2021 community, I should say, as it's just such a difficult track to wrap your head around and try to get it down correctly.
Yeah, it is. It's quite challenging, as you said. Everything you've pretty much said is kind of what I'd agree. It's just hated by a lot of people. Personally, I'm not a big fan of Zandvoort, purely because it's just not my sort of track. But also just to point out, if you haven't seen, like Sasso has got full-on wing damage.
As he now breaks through the 50 and 100 meter braking zone marks on the left side of, I want to say, turn 10. Yeah. And
yeah, I just saw him spin at the NASCAR corner, as you say, right at the start of the lap.
Well, that's...
Yeah, I think he spun on the exit of that, and he was on the kind of the side of the track, on the left-hand side of the track.
Yep, it's gonna be very difficult, but one thing that actually makes this track unique, not only from its how difficult the track is, as we now go on board on Chaos Druid, who's entering Sector 2 down the first DRS straight up towards turn 11. This track is actually unusually located among the sand dunes in a popular seaside resort where the Zandvoort circuit is situated 40 kilometers west of Amsterdam on the North Sea coast, and also the track was actually the sole host of 30 previous Dutch Grand Prix, where the Dutch track designer John Hugenholtz, who designed the Suzuka circuit, is often wrongly attributed as being responsible for the Zandvoort track as well. But you can actually see the inspiration. Ooh. Actually,
Peter Silva just had a massive spin.
Oh, I'm actually seeing that right now on turn 10 and turn 11, and I'm actually looking at the chat now as well. Tita Silva was actually one of the drivers who have really struggled here at Zandvoort, I believe last season as well. So they're just gonna have to open up those books of nightmares once again to see if they can actually battle those demons. But honestly, this track, I don't think I'm gonna be beating those demons and beating this track at any time because it's so difficult.
Yeah, Monster's just come in the pits. He has set a 113.4. I'm thinking maybe he's done that.
Sorry to cut you off there. A little bit of a hiccup there for Chaos Druid, as Barbers was just able to make his way through and come around the track. Actually, Monster, as he just said in the chat, saying that he absolutely loves this track. And David Boyer couldn't have said it any better. It was a good lap there for Chaos. Was P3 at the time, but now on a P4. But one person who has actually had an amazing time actually out there on the track is going to be Craigie, who has been out there on set of mediums and clocking in a 112.0. And we actually see the two Alfa Romeos lining up on the front row for the time being, both with a 111. Guitar Man Khan with a 111.6, with his teammate Carnage. Is that Achilles? Carnage Achilles
yes.
with a
Yeah.
111.8.
He's
So
actually just under .1 underneath his time right now, and he is coming across the line now to finish second flying lap. And he improves it very, very slightly, but just off and runs right into the gravel there at turn 01. So certainly pushing. The page does her usual disqualification to start the back. But yeah, Monster's time of 113.4. I am thinking that he did that maybe without any ERS. Would be my best guess, because he tends to, I think he tends to just set a lap, and then towards the end, last couple of laps, he puts the hammer down and starts to use that ERS to get a proper solid lap in. And if he likes this track, I think he'll be hoping to be certainly near the top in this qualifying session. So.
Well, it looks like two drivers are going to be starting a new fast lap here on the track. T. Da Silva, as he's now coming up towards turn 5, as Voice of Chris is going to be starting his new lap now. Light Sesso still yet to set a time, as we're going to stay on board with Light Sesso. You want to, actually, if you guys were here yesterday, the quickest times that we actually saw in qualifying for Tier 2 was, I believe, a 109 actually, as those drivers just really clocked in those amazing times. I could only bring around a 111.1 in time trial, and I think I came at the end with a 111.9. So I think I reserved for the wrong division. But it was still an amazing race, guys. If you guys want to cue in onto that, go watch yesterday's stream. Very, very eventful. But if there was anything that was very controversial that happened here at Zandvoort, it was actually on Monday, as it kind of went across the internet a little bit. I saw it multiple times actually on the F1 2021 Facebook group, where it was actually a huge pileup of, just before turn 14, where there was about 10 cars that were impacted. 4 of them were actually DNF'd because of the collision, and I think stewards are still going under investigation to figure out who is going to be applied penalties or not. But as Guitar Man Khan with an extraordinary time out there, a 111.1.6 for the Alfa Romeo, and honestly, it's going to be quite a bit of time before we actually see anyone improve on that. And Daru Sinat actually did correct me there. It was actually a 10.5 that was the quickest time.
I'm just going to actually check now, because I raced at Zandvoort in April, and I'm just going to actually check what my qualifying time was. I will just quickly have a look now and see.
Well, let's see, as we're actually going to go on board with Monster, who's going to be going out there on another lap here. Doesn't look like he's using his ERS once again, so I'm not too sure what his game plan is here. Probably going to put a bunch of rubber down on like a few set of softs before he goes on to the final set, as we now have 7 minutes left of qualifying. And I do gotta say, guys, if you guys are coming in, welcome to Prospect eRacing League, as we're here for the PlayStation Tier 3 division that happens every Wednesday, where 5 p.m. Eastern, 10 p.m. GMT. We were a little bit late, as I was trying to get back into the lobby as quick as possible. But as we're on board and now following Monster onto his lap here, turn 9 and now turn 10, where the track is actually very unique. I would potentially describe it as a hatchet mixed hammer if you tilt the track a little bit sideways here. But if you guys are enjoying the content, please again hit that like button. We are trying to get our numbers up, and I want to see if you guys are enjoying it, how we can improve as well. Let me know in the comments how we can improve here at eRacing League. And if you guys want to cue into all of the races, as Monster has just invalidated around the final corner here. Looks like he's going to go back into the pit lane for a new set of tires. His teammate of T. Da Silva looks like he's going to try and improve. But if you guys are wanting to cue into all of the races that we have throughout the week, we have from Mondays to Fridays, so PC Tier 1 and PlayStation Tier 1 on Mondays. The PC Tier 1 will be happening at 3 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. GMT, where PlayStation will start 2 hours after at 5 p.m. Eastern, 10 p.m. GMT. We also have PlayStation Tier 2 on Tuesdays at the same time, as well as Wednesdays here in Tier 3. We also have Xbox Tier 1 on Thursdays at 4 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. GMT, and then the PlayStation Academy on Fridays at 5 p.m. Eastern, 10 p.m. GMT. So guys, cue into all of that, and if you guys want to get notified on that, please hit the notification bell after you hit the subscribe button if you guys are new. But make sure that notification bell is filled so you're notified every time we go live from Monday to Friday. And we're thinking of actually having a Gran Turismo League coming up soon during the weekend, so when we get the link all started and ready to go, please cue into those as well. But Tilmo actually improving on his time coming into Sector 2 for the Alpine, and Chappers, honestly, with this track, when you say in the difficulty scale from 1 to 10, where would you put this track actually?
I'd probably say it's near like maybe a 7 or an 8, just purely because it's not, I feel it's not very grippy and it's just so technical. So for me, the difficulty level of this track is certainly on the higher, you know, on the list as one of the most difficult tracks, in my opinion. So yeah, it's a lot to do with this track. It's just so technical, and it's all about getting into a rhythm, but also old tyres here are a major issue, especially around the last corner now as Tita Silva's about to go around it. If you even just take that corner slightly wrong or offline, it can just unsettle the car, and then the way the car will spin is you'll end up in one of the walls, and it can also, if there's no ghosting, it can mess up other drivers behind you if you're in the middle of a race. So you've certainly got to be careful here, especially on old tyres.
Exactly, and one person that we actually saw back in Tier 2, I have to give him a quick shout out for the wrong reason, as he doesn't want to remember this anytime soon. Podlovsky was actually really struggling around that final corner of turn 14, where if you don't have the downforce at all on those rears and you go full on the turning on that car, you're gonna have a lot of oversteer, and that is one of the many what's it called, common crashing points of this track. Of course, we also have where Tita Silva is coming up now towards turn 11. A lot of people actually take that curve a little bit too much and spin off on the exit, me actually being one of them yesterday. We also have the exit here of turn 12 and also turn 13. If you get that curb a little bit on the outside, a little bit too much, or even the curb on the inside, curbs are not friendly at this track, and these drivers, hopefully they know that. But honestly, so far, as time is going to go on, we could be seeing some drivers get into the 110s. I think Qatarman Khan potentially, well, he does have the potential to get in there, but Light Sesso and Carnage Achilles could be giving them a little bit of a hassle to try and get that completed. But as Qatarman Khan is actually on a yellow flag here, looks like he has spun as T De Silva has just disconnected and clocked in a 5:10.4 there.
I just actually found out my quali time for when I raced here about a month ago, and it was a 1 minute 10.4 is what I did. So...
yeah, so you should have reserved instead of me. Where were you?
Yeah, I just checked the times. It would have put me about, in Tier 1, it would have put me about the midfield area, which I would take actually. That's be quite pleased with myself for that one, I think. Yeah, it would have put me P8. So.
Well, we're going to be staying on board with Qatarman Khan on this lap here as he makes his way around Zandvoort, and let's see if he's going to be improving. He needs to improve by just over a tenth and a half to make his way into the 110s. We could be seeing a 110.9 here, but honestly, you gotta say that all of these drivers have done so far so good, but the thing about this track that really makes it difficult is, like, it's not only the sweeping corners, but also when you take these sort of lines, the track is actually kind of narrow in a way. So there could be a lot of tire bumping, there could be a few incidents, and there could be a lot of mishap on the track, especially down towards turn 1, where everyone is going to try and lead the race, as it is pretty easy actually to defend it here, as Qatarman Khan entering sector 3 is actually on the exact same time here, so he really needs to clock in this final few corners absolutely perfectly. As he now comes around the final corner, can Qatarman Khan improve to the 110s as he sprints towards the timing line? Is it going to be enough? No, it will not be enough for a 110, but it's still an improvement with a 111.122. Almost straight ones across the board there on that time there, chappers. Extraordinary there from Guitar Man Khan.
It is. Monster is currently on a lap. He is zero point 0.7 under his time in the first sector. So Monster is on a flying lap here. And he did say to me that 113.4 that he did was actually no DRS, ERS, and 7 laps of fuel. So considering that was the case with the car, that's a solid time there regardless. But he's 1.4 under now, so Monster on for a decent time here, and he's going to improve even more in this last couple of corners.
Well, let's see if he's going to be the one to do it. Let's see, coming around the final corner. So far with a predicted 112, could be into the 111s here as he goes third fastest, a 111.321 for Monster, as that was absolutely extraordinary. Tito Silva just joins in, but not in time to go out on another lap. He'll be starting in P17. So far,
take the flag. Monster's got another lap here.
Well, let's see if he's going to be the one to improve on that. Guitar Man Khan is actually entering the pit lane. Both Mason and Vintage are out on their laps. Mason is going slow in his. Vintage goes into the pit lane. So none of them are happy with the improvement on that one. Gasmore Pam has actually run out of fuel coming around the final corner. And it could be... who is that coming around the final corner? I think it's going to be Bubbers, who has invalidated. So a lot of drivers actually struggling a little bit on these final few laps. Mark 7 got also down on his lap. We're going to go up to Craigie, as he is only down by 21 thousandths of a second, and he's going to go into the pit lane as well. So Monster, as you said, will collect the checkered flag, and this is how it's going to stand unless Monster improves around this final corner. And it does not look like it. And that's going to be it for qualifying here. Ladies and gentlemen, Guitar Man Khan brings it home with a 111.122. Outstanding move right there. Craigie going to be lining up on the front row, as well as Monster, and Panda Man lining up that second row. Then we're going to be having Light Sesso, Gasmar Pam, Carnage Achilles, Voice of Chris, Chaos Druid, and Bubbers lining up the top 10. All will be starting on a set of softs, except for Bubbers, who will be starting on a... No, everyone out there on the set of softs in the top 10. Unless it is a wet weather, but no weather spoilers, please. But in the bottom 10, we actually have the Haas's, who are saying in the chat that that is their strategic pole for the Haas there, as Vintage and Mason will be lining up in that 6th row there from P11 and P12. Then we have Mark 7 God, Tilmo, Villeneuve, Mellow Space. Then we have Tita Silva, Kevo, Artistic Genius, and as always, Paige Baguette with her strategy on the back row, starting in last in P20. But just to give you guys a little bit of a description of where we are. So just like Silverstone, actually, Zandvoort was actually first opened in 1948, part of the wave of post-war motorsport enthusiasm that swept across Europe. Originally made up of a mixture of permanent track and public roads that snaked through the sand dunes of the Zandvoort resort town, where the Dutch Automobile Racing Club, who initiated the plans for the circuit, brought in 1927 Le Mans winner Sammy Davis to consult on the layout for the original 4.2 kilometer track as well. And when the Formula One arrived at the dunes in 1952, with Alberto Ascari dominating the race, and has led home a 1-2-3 for Ferrari as well, where Formula One would go on to race on and off at the track until 1985, where before, in 2019, the announcement came that the championship would return to Zandvoort for 2020 after a 35-year hiatus, where the COVID-19 pandemic meant that became 36 in the 2021 date. So, of course, with COVID-19, definitely gave a few tracks actually a little bit of a hassle on a return. Zandvoort being one of them, but one track that actually utilized the COVID-19 pandemic was actually the Australian Grand Prix, where they actually made those construction adjustments up for the 2022 Grand Prix, where it was an absolutely amazing race. If you guys did miss it.
Right then, the guys are now starting their formation lap as Guitarman Khan leads them around the circuit of Zandvoort. Everybody's now set off.
Well, as Mason said in the chat, I see a strategic pole for the Haas. So, they're both of the Haas actually on different sets of tires. Mason on a set of softs, Vintage on a set of mediums. And you can actually see a dominant red compound layout for the race start, where we only have 5 drivers on those set of mediums: Vintage, Villeneuve, Mellowed Space, as well as Artistic Genius, What a Legend, and Paige Baguette. Of course, Artistic Genius being the Tier 2 commentator with Feldman, so a big shout out for Artistic Genius, as he's going to be lining up on the back row with Paige. And honestly, I hope he has a good race. Very difficult track as well, so we could be seeing a lot of incidents here today. But ladies and gentlemen, we're just seconds underway for the 5 red lights. I'm excited. How about you, Chappers?
I'm very excited. This is going to be a proper good race. I reckon it's going to be pretty close at the start, I think. And if we see a couple of safety cars, it's just going to make the racing even closer, with the safety car bringing everybody back together. So, Guitarman Khan now is coming around the penultimate corner, just getting ready to line up on the grid as he does his final little warm-up of his tyres. As there we go, then as the cars now Ghost as they line up onto the grid.
Now, as these drivers are lining up now, ladies and gentlemen, again, I hope you guys have hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. I want to know who in the chat is part of the notification squad here in Prospects eRacing League, as we are just seconds underway for the start of the race, where I think it's only fair. Chappers, you lead us the Dutch Grand Prix.
I will do that very gladly, as we just wait for the last couple of drivers to line up on the grid before we get ready for lights out. So we should be ready to go. Here we go then, guys. And it is the last lights to go out, and it is lights out, and away we go for round 6. Season 6 of Tier 3 Prospects, as PLR Craig gets an amazing start as he gets the jump on Guitarman Khan. Guitarman Khan runs a little bit wide there. Has he been spun out a little bit? He has. Guitarman Khan has been spun out, and as a few drivers actually go off the track. One of the Hasses has got wing damage. One of the Hasses has got wing damage as well, I believe.
And that...
In short, I think it could be Mason. I did see a Hass there that looked like they had wing damage.
But we're gonna have to check. Yep, it is Mason.
Sure.
Yep, you're right. It's Mason. Absolutely no front wing, as the virtual safety car is now out on the track. And honestly, you gotta say, an outstanding start there from Craigie to go ahead of Guitarman Khan into turn 1. Very unfortunate for Guitarman Khan. Which you said, was it Guitarman Khan or was it Carnage that actually had that spin? As Carnage is now down to P19. And I actually saw one of the AlphaTauris actually didn't have a good start coming into turn 1 and actually blocked their teammate a little bit, as we now see Guitarman Khan making his way past Mason. Mason is still going to try and defend with no front wing. Very ambitious there. Good effort there from Mason, as he will now have to go into the pit lane. And looks like a big buildup of cars here coming down towards turn 11. And as I was saying, one of the AlphaTauris, Gasmore Pam, battling out with Paige as well as Kevo, who's now looking on the inside. A little bit of a glitch for Kevo as he slots into P17. Actually a lot of people are coming into the pit lane early. The pit lane is now extremely busy with 6 drivers now. As it is Guitarman Khan, Mason, Chaos Druid, Tilmo, Gasmore Pam, and Carnage Achilles, as both of the AlphaTauris, no, sorry, not AlphaTauris, Alfa Romeos will now have a double stack in that pit lane. But now, with this close battle between Mellow Space, Villeneuve, as well as T. De Silva, who I believe has just disconnected, and Voice of Chris as well, right on the tail end. A close battle so far, and has only been lap 2, as there's been a little bit of a shake up there for Mellow Space, and he goes into the wall, taking too much of that curb, and Voice of Chris gets the easiest overtake of his life.
Yeah, I have just watched the replay of turn 1, and it did look like Light Sesso on the Alpine did now break himself a little bit, which did clip the rear of Guitarman Khan, and I think that's why we saw Guitarman Khan lose the front a little bit, and that might have been why Mason potentially got wing damage because there was nowhere for Mason really to go. Possibly he could have been the unfortunate one where the Talon Khan's car ended up, but I'm sure footage will be sent in to the stewards after this, so then we'll know exactly what happened. But it did look
Oh,
like
hold up. I gotta cut you off here, chap, as we have a close battle here, as I believe Mark 7 God actually goes into the pit lane. Voice of Chris with an outstanding exit around turn 14. We also saw a close battle with Paige, Mellowspace, as well as Kevo earlier. As you were making the description, we also see Chaos Druid and Mason having themselves a battle where the two pit stoppers now out on a new set of tires around turn 14, where we actually see Chaos Druid still hold on to P14, now makes their way past Mark 7 God, who is just coming out of the pit lane. Is he going to slot in into that battle as well, as we could be having a three-way battle there? But now back up to Craigie with an outstanding start, as Artistic Genius is now out of this race, down towards Sector 2 in turn 7 and 8, as he will now have to take an early leave from the race, and that's going to bring out the second virtual safety car.
Oh no!
Oh! Chaos Drew completely slams on the brakes, brake checking Mason, and that's going to bring out the safety car.
Oh no!
I just saw that as well. I just saw that. Mason, who said earlier in the chat high hopes, hoping to get more than 2 points today, will be ending on a no points here today, as he was brake checked by Chaos Druid from what we saw, and that's going to be huge controversy here in Tier 3, as Mason now takes the early leave, and the safety car now just ahead of Craigie, as he'll be leading the safety car restart.
Very, very strange incident there. Maybe, surely they wouldn't have a Delta, would they? Because if it went straight safety car, maybe they wouldn't have a Delta, would they? Because it would just go straight to safety car conditions.
Oh no, you would still have the Delta. You would still have to respect the Delta before you cross that finish line. You still have to respect the Delta.
Yeah, that's it.
But
so
I think that caught Mason off guard too as well. He probably didn't realize it was a virtual safety car, because remember, it was a virtual safety car before it became a safety car after Mason's thing. So they had to respect the Delta, and I think that caught Mason off guard, as Chaos Druid just slams on the brakes to get that red Delta into the green. But a very unfortunate incident there. I'm not too sure what will be the outcome, but of course the stewards will do an exceptional job as always. But look here in the grandstands of turn 11 and 12, as these spectators are here for an extraordinary race. Beautiful scenes here at the sand dunes. Very surprised how they actually got this to work, in my opinion, as it just looks absolutely extraordinary.
And I think the Dutch fans will be pretty pleased to see a Red Bull out in front of PLR Craigie here. So,
well, it's actually going to be a Red Bull in disguise. It's actually going to be a Red Bull in disguise, as Max Verstappen isn't going to be here today. Of course, Red Bull are still going to be trying to improve, but the thing is that makes it so unique with Red Bull. Like, you have teams like Aston Martin, and you have Aston Martin, and you have Mercedes. No, not Mercedes. Is it just Aston Martin that's the British team in Formula 1?
McLaren.
McLaren, thank you. So that's, yeah, I said Mercedes, didn't I? So McLaren and Aston Martin, who are actually their team's home Grand Prix being at Silverstone, where of course, again, where we have Alpine's home Grand Prix at Paul Ricard, a bit different with the Red Bull team, as they're actually in Austria at the Red Bull Ring, where, of course, given the name, that is going to be their home Grand Prix. So a bit different for the teams, but for the drivers, of course, they're going to be representing their country well this season.
Agree. Yeah, it's a bit of a shame really to see in the real life F1 the Aston Martin car just not really seeming to be up to scratch. It's a little bit sad to see, but hopefully they can improve the car a little bit and we can see that car go up front, so then we can have a British dominance maybe, but it's a long road ahead. Williams as well, that's very true. Williams is also British.
Yeah, oh, Williams, yep. I actually,
that's me being a bot and not thinking of Williams. Apologies on that one.
Well,
I
hey,
now seem
I'm
like a
foreign,
bit
so
of
I'm
a
allowed to get away with it.
yeah. Well, me being English, I'm screwed there. So that's me out of a job.
The only one that I know that's technically my home Grand Prix is Portimao, as my heritage is Portuguese, even though I'm not actually
Okay.
born in Portugal. It's a bit different, but here for the safety car, as we have another lap, we're going to give you guys a little bit of fun facts about the Dutch Grand Prix, actually. Where the first ever Grand Prix at the track during the pre-F1 era in 1948 was actually won by Prince Byra, who was the only Thai driver to race in Formula 1 at the time, until Alexander Albon has actually made his debut in the 2019 Australian Grand Prix, where we also saw Joe Bonnier record the only win, podium, and pole position in his F1 career at the Dutch Grand Prix in 1959, and it was also the first of 17 wins and 11 pole positions for the BRM team, where we also saw legend Jim Clark hold the record for the most wins at the Dutch Grand Prix, having won Zandvoort for 4 occasions from 1963, 1964, 1965, and you guessed it, it is not 1966, but it is 1967. But as the safety car could potentially be coming in this lap here, Craigie, what would you say would be the best corner to start
Craigie.
as? Oh, sorry, not Craigie. Sorry, Chappers.
Chappers.
Why did I
That's
say
alright.
Craigie? I'm so
I
sorry.
have
Because
no
Craigie's
idea.
leading
Don't
it.
worry.
Well,
Ah.
only would be the best corner for Craigie to go on the throttle and wait for the safety car to come in. Like, which corner would you say would be the best one?
Uh, I would say potentially as he comes out of the last corner is when he can hopefully get his foot down, as it is coming in this lap. He's slowed right down. We'll probably see him, if you're on board with him, you will probably see Craig put the power down right now as he just comes out of this penultimate corner. Maybe not. It might be actually the last corner itself he's done it. It is
Oh,
the last corner itself. He's done it a bit later than I thought he would.
an
But he's actually
extraordinary
got
restart.
an extraordinarily good jump on Monster. As Monster's going to take a bit of a defending line there on Vintage, and he does keep P2, so...
And Villeneuve now battling out with Panda Man Gaming, and Panda Man Gaming currently on the set of hards, so it's going to be taking him a little bit of laps to get those tires warmed up, would you say? As here at this track, it's going to be very difficult for him.
The hards are a little bit slippery as they are, but them combined at Zandvoort might be a bit of a challenge for Panda Man, but you may be thinking of the long run potentially here, because all the other guys in front of him will have to pit a lot sooner than him, I imagine, so unless anything drastic happens to Panda Man Gaming. But it seems like he is actually sticking with the Aston Martin of Villeneuve. Oh, Bubbers has gone off the track a little bit there, and that has allowed Panda Man and Villeneuve to overtake him. So Bubbers had a little bit of a moment there coming onto the DRS little section there, as it will not be activated for the next couple of laps anyway, but Bubbers lost the rear a little bit, and T. De Silva now right behind Bubbers.
And with an extraordinary run as well.
Yeah.
Let's see. It's very difficult here to get the move done around turn 1. But Bubbers with the later braking. A little bit of contact actually between Bubbers and T. De Silva. And that's going to be giving Qatarman Khan a little bit of hope to try and get the job done. Very unfortunate there, as Qatarman Khan now around the outside takes a little bit of a wider line there, losing a lot of temporary time. Oh, and there goes Kevo, who has had himself an incident around turn 4 as he now slips off the track. Very unfortunate there for Kevo, as he's now in P17. We're now going to go back up the grid, and look at that lead there from Craigie, just on another level here today.
Amazing, yeah, he's had an amazing restart to this race after that safety car. And Monster's actually also gapped Vintage. So, those softs still seem to have the grip at the moment. So those mediums will come into play very soon, I believe. But both the front two have pulled away from the field, and I think Craigie's just gapping Monster slightly. But I think those two are contending for the title, I believe. They're both battling. Monster and
Oh,
Craigie
we're looking
looking.
at a battle now with Villeneuve and Vintage. Villeneuve has had a run on Vintage coming down off the exit of turn 14. Now up to turn 1. He's actually made the inside line actually work here as he now slides up into the podium positions. As we now see T. Da Silva making his move on Guitar Man Khan on his new set of softs. But now Panaman on his set of hards, he's going to be eyeing down the back end of Vintage as his strategy has been absolutely perfect starting on those set of mediums. Panaman actually is going a little bit faster on those set of hards coming into these corners. So it looks like Panaman is really feeling the car here today.
Yeah, I've just looked at the standings after round 5, and PLR Craigie is out in front actually with 86 points. And then it's Monster in second place with 60, with Guitar Man Khan on 55.
Oh, Light Sesso, I'm looking down the grid. Light Sesso and Carnage Achilles, both with DRS, right behind Chaos Druid. But it's going to be Light Sesso diving on the inside. A little bit of contact, actually, between Carnage and Light Sesso. Might be looking at side pod damage here, as we also see T. Da Silva have himself an incident, and there's a crash around turn 14 on T. Da Silva. Guitar Man Khan being involved in that, as well as Voice of Chris, who has now crashed into the rear end of T. Da Silva, and now completely out of this race. Now 3 drivers bite the dust.
Well, that's brought out another safety car as well, and also Carnage Achilles had a spin at the penultimate corner, and he has had wing damage, so I believe he is boxing now. I think he got wing damage, I'm not entirely sure, but I'll have a look now.
Yeah, I think he did actually. Oh no, he didn't actually. He didn't change his front wing, so just a little bit of oversteer for T. Da Silva as he now comes out of the pit lane in P16. Now with the safety car out once again as well.
Carnage has just put on another set of softs. He has.
Yeah, and he's actually using a used set of softs. So
yeah,
a bit of a different strategy here for Carnage.
Was that a mistake maybe? Was he meant to go on mediums and the pit crew maybe just put on the set of softs?
Well,
actually?
I'm not too sure, but it's gonna be whoever's gonna be complaining, Jeff in the pit box. Of course, Jeff is gonna be no more coming to
Craigie's
F1,
boxing.
F122, and yep, we are actually on board with Craigie as Monster. Yep, he's gonna be leading the safety car restart, but on 10 lap set of softs, you really think that he would pit in?
Yeah, well, it'll be interesting to see where Craigie actually ends up. Maybe Monster's hoping for maybe a virtual.
Well, we'll have to wait and see.
Craigie's only come out, he'll come out maybe
just ahead of Chaos in P6.
P7, P6?
Yep.
That would have
P6.
put Monster probably behind Chaos Druid, so would have probably put Monster there. So Chaos would have probably separated the two, but he would have been on a fresher set of mediums to Chaos. So interesting choice. And maybe Monster's hoping for another safety car, so then he can have the advantage on a fresher set over Craigie. Maybe it's an interesting.
Well, Chaos Druid, of course, earlier being in that controversial incident with Mason, as he retaliates into the chat. I'm not entirely too sure what will be the outcome. We're gonna have to check the footage to see what's gonna happen there. But very unfortunate to see that actually, slamming on the brakes and causing an incident because of that. Definitely a no-go, especially under virtual or safety car conditions. But I think the stewards will, as they always do, will do an amazing job to penalize someone in the best way possible and in the most fair way possible as well. So we're gonna have to check on the news from them at the end of this race. Potentially we'll be getting a notification or an announcement later on. But Monster still out on those set of softs. Gonna be taking the huge risk here as both of the Red Bulls look like they're coming into the pit lane. Oh, no, it's just Mellow Space. Sorry about that.
It's just Mellow. Yeah, PLR Craigie will just stay out because he is on the fresh set medium, so there's no way he's boxing again. At this point in the race anyway, maybe he will again. But yeah, it's an interesting choice for Monster actually to stay out. I think as well, Panda Man being behind him on those hards may also help Monster a little bit slightly, because Monster will more than likely still have better grip than Panda Man, even though Monster's an 11 lap old softs. I think those softs could probably still hold their own, but it's an interesting decision he's made here. I reckon he's just hoping for another safety car quite early on after this one, then he can box in.
Well, of course, we're gonna have to wait and see what's gonna be the outcome of this safety car. But Panaman, I might have to actually disagree with you here. I think with Monster and the heat here at Zandvoort, remember we're in the sand dunes, so is the temperatures are definitely high up, especially with the humidity as well. Could be high up. The track temperatures could be, we could be looking around maybe 96, 97 degrees Celsius. Fahrenheit, not Celsius. Jesus, that would be like cooking up some food. You'll be cooking a rack of bacon on there. But
Oh yeah.
but yeah, and especially with these softs, with all of these corners, definitely a rubber eater here at Zandvoort. So I think Panaman could actually be going a little bit faster than Monster coming to the race start. But Monster, of course, looks like he's already warmed up his tires, as the heat here in Netherlands is going to help him to do that very easily. Of course, Panaman with the harder compound is going to have to work a little bit harder to actually get those temperatures up. Now the safety car is in the pit lane. Monster can go whenever he feels, and he's going to run on the throttle, but it's going to be Panaman, like I said, with an amazing exit. Now coming around the outside, this is going to really show who has the better grip. And it looks like actually Panaman actually got a little bit of a faster corner there. Monster did defend absolutely beautifully to hold off the Williams driver, but you can actually see a lot of understeer coming into these corners for Monster, and that is just a recipe for disaster for those set of softs. As Chaos Druid has had a massive incident, a little bit of oversteer as he now crashes into the wall and is now down in P17 after the safety car restart. Light Sesso also has an incident, lost his left end plate actually for Light Sesso. So Chaos Druid could be taking that position back. We're going to have to wait and see on that one. We also see Vintage as well as Carnage Achilles going side to side. Both of them braking a little bit too late. And Mellow Space could now go around the outside on his Red Bull. Has a little bit of a faster corner, but it actually is going to be Carnage to pick up the boost, pick up that turbo, and move up back into the top 10. A huge lockup there for Mellow Space, as well as Vintage.
Yeah, but Monster has pulled a bit of a gap on Panda, a 0.7-ish gap. But and he has got a little bit more battery than Panda Man as well, so.
Well, we're also seeing a battle into turn 1 here. Craigie was looking for the line on the inside on Guitar Man Khan, but this is the thing as well. With turn 1, it's a bit of a different strategy. Like if it was kind of like turn 1 at Hungary, it would make it a lot easier to actually brake a little bit later. But the thing is, with turn 1 having that slight elevation change, as Gasmar Pam is now out of this race, and the VSC then comes out, and Kevo.
Oh,
and that's going to upgrade it to a full safety car, as this car is now stuck in the middle of the track.
Surely Monster's going to pit now. He's surely going to pit.
Well, this is going to be the call that he has been looking for. Go on a set of mediums to end the race. The only thing is, Panaman and Craigie are in the best positions right now. Same goes with Bubbers. Maybe even Mark 7 God if you really look at it. But with Panaman, those hards now with a virtual safety car start and then 2 safety cars, those hard compounds can reach until the end. We could also say the same for Craigie's 2-lap-old set of mediums, and even Mark 7 God and Bubber's all-lap set of mediums and hards. As like you said, Monster now going into the pit lane, and Panaman will now lead the safety car restart and lead the Dutch Grand Prix on lap 15.
And Monster has come out a bit further down than what Craigie did. Gonna be a P10 out the pits for Monster now.
Well, let's see if Monster can actually hold on to the points. Currently in a points finishing position. 2 more drivers into the pit lane. Chaos Druid and Tilmo, who has actually just come out. Light Sesso goes into the pit lane on a new set of softs. So it looks like he might be looking at damage potentially on his front wing. Or is he actually? No, he's going on a new set of mediums to end the race. He knows his set of softs are not going to reach the end of the race. He's going to go on a new set of mediums to try and extend the stint of them, as they now have 21 laps left in this race. Potentially even 20 once the safety car comes in. But let's see here, actually. Well, of course, with the Dutch Grand Prix, and as you said earlier, Chappers, of the Red Bull, Max Verstappen actually in 2021 has actually gave Netherlands their first home winner, where the nation became the 12th to have a home winner in Formula One, and it was the first time a new country has joined that particular list since Fernando Alonso won his home race for the first time at the 2006 Spanish Grand Prix. So it was a 15-year stint for a home Grand Prix winner.
Wow.
And when Fernando Alonso won his 2006 Spanish Grand Prix, Max Verstappen, how old was he then? Probably 7, maybe 8?
I'll have a look.
Because that's in 2006, and I think Max Verstappen is actually around my age, actually. I think he's around 21.
He would have been 8 or 9.
8 or 9?
He would have been turning 9 that year. He was 8 when it happened.
Oh, so Verstappen's 23 or 24 this year.
24. He's 25 this year.
Oh, it's 25. So he's currently 24, but later on he'll turn 25.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, honestly,
he would have been 8 turning 9.
Who would have thought, to be honest with you, who would have thought it would have been a 15-year deficit of a home Grand Prix winner? Who would have known?
Not a lot of people. It's something that you don't really hear about. But yeah, very impressive that he was able to do it and add his name to that list. So.
Well, talking about Max Verstappen, who has actually won, let's actually look at the Dutch Grand Prix finishers who actually finished into the points, and there's actually only been 2 from what it looked like, of Karel Godin de Beaufort and Gij van Lelep. I definitely butchered those names, who finished in the points after finishing 6th in both 1962 and 1973 respectively. But we just received word from race control, ladies and gentlemen, the safety car is now in this lap, and we'll be back to green lights and back to this coverage of the Dutch Grand Prix I'm having a stroke here, sorry. The Prospects eRacing League coverage of the Dutch Grand Prix here for PlayStation Tier 3 Season 6 Round 6, as there's a huge crash with Craigie around the final corner, and now there's a Red Bull out of this race, as Craigie is now the 6th driver to bite the dust, and we can actually say bite the sand here in the sand dunes in Zandvoort. Did you see what happened there?
I did not. I did not see what happened there. That's changed a lot of things up, actually. Is that another safety car?
No, it's just a yellow flag, as it's just been a safety car restart. But we gotta say, now coming down towards the halfway point of the race, the drivers who have gained the most positions is Mellow Space and T De Silva with 10, but it's actually going to go down to Page so far, who has started in last and looking so far in the podium positions.
Yeah, Paige is still not pitted yet though, but she's 0.4 under her best time, so those mediums still seem like they can hold out a little bit longer.
Well, she's doing an exceptional job, same with all of these drivers, as this track is very, very difficult, and with Craigie now out of this race, that could be giving Monster a way up, and we're going to have to see if he's going to be the one to come out on top, as we now see T De Silva making his way past Mellow Space. Carnage now looking on the inside. Looks like it was a double overtake for Carnage.
It was.
Absolutely beautiful.
Double overtake there. On both of the Mercedes as well, so...
Absolutely extraordinary stuff there from Carnage Achilles. Of course, him and Qatar Man Khan had some extraordinary lap times in qualifying. But so far, Guitar Khan in second, Carnage up into the podium of P3. We also see down in the middle this close battle. Look at this battle for P7 here, as Villeneuve, Monster, as well as Mark 7 God. And you can actually potentially even say Light Sesto creeping up the rear of that battle as they make their way through. Mellowspace trying to catch up to T de Silva to make it a battle for P6. But it's going to be Monster now looking on the inside of Villeneuve as they go side to side. A little bit of contact and a huge crash for Monster as he now loses his front wing down towards turn 11, under braking both of them. And there goes Villeneuve into the wall. Took too much of that curve, and we could be looking at a virtual safety car, but so far it's only a yellow flag, and we are still to green lights as Mark 7 God goes around Monster. Monster now into the pit lane for a new front wing, with Tilmo as well right behind him.
Gutting there for Monster. I think he'll probably go into another set of mediums and try and just go to the end now.
Very unfortunate there for Monster. Yep, as you said, going on a new set of mediums. Same with Tilmo, who is actually serving a 5-second time penalty. Oh, actually, no, he's going on a set of softs to end this race. So a bit of a different strategy here. But Guitar Man Khan and Panda Man Gaming, them two have been battling out ever since the safety car restart, as the gap now is within half a second. Same goes with Paige and her teammate of Bubbers in the Mercedes. And you gotta say, I think Bubbers is actually a little bit faster than Paige currently on the tire sets that they're on. So I think Paige is actually holding up her teammate, I believe. But we're gonna have to wait and see what the team strategy will come down to, if it's gonna be a clean overtake or not.
Yeah, well, Paige's tires are 18 laps old, and if Monster stays out, that's what his will be at the end also. So, I'm expecting Paige to...
Oh, Guitar Man Khan. Sorry to cut you off there. Guitar Man Khan on the inside of Panda Man down towards turn 1. And it's actually going to be Bubbers to make the move on Paige. So good team strategy there. But Panda Man now holding off Guitar Man Khan into turn 1. Beautiful defense there. As we now see Mark 7 God and Light Sesso as well have themselves a battle for P8. Coming down towards lap 20 of 36, 17 laps left here at Zandvoort, where they'll be going on the sand dunes for a little bit of a quote-unquote vacation spot. And some of them could be coming back home with a little bit of sunburns, and I wouldn't be surprised if they'll be getting sunburns that seep through their racing suits, because it is absolutely boiling here at Zandvoort as Vintage feels those hot tires and hot temperatures as he now spins around turn 7. Like, do you got an AC unit on? Like, you got like a small handheld AC? Because I am boiling in this comms box right now.
It is boiling, actually. Yeah, I'm swelling a little bit here, definitely. As Guitar Man Khan's actually just got the run on. Panda Man's lagging a little bit there. Wow, that was a bit scary as they went side by side.
But Guitar Man Khan with the Iron Fist around the outside, using that DRS to absolutely optimal situations as he now leads the Dutch Grand Prix. Panda Man with a little bit of a shake-up, a little bit of an inside line there of turn 4, and that's going to be giving Carnage an opportunity to catch up as well, and I think that's going to be their game plan here. Carnage on a set of softs. I'm not too sure if they're going to end until the end of the last until the end of the race, but I think his job right now is to catch up to Panda Man, hold him off as much as he can to give his teammate of Guitar Man Khan a huge leeway, as Mellowspace actually has had an incident on his set of softs. So it looks like the red compounds are really struggling here today, as the mediums and the hards looks like it's gonna be the most optimal. And as I say that, Chaos Druid goes into the wall in his set of mediums, so that prediction is completely out the window, as Chaos Druid is now with no front wing, struggling to find the grip, and Vintage now back into the points going around the outside.
Yep, as Monster will definitely catch up a little bit now to Chaos Druid. Because he will box, so that will put Monster into P11.
Well, right now, Light Sesso making the move on Mark 7 God, and we're actually going to see the gap now from the leader as Panda Man has spun! Panda Man has spun around turn 4, has rejoined with no front wing and a hard set of compounds. Is a recipe for disaster for Panda Man, as his nightmare here at Zandvoort has gotten even worse.
I say old hards, slippy track can get difficult.
Yep, a very dusty and sandy track as well as the wind speed could definitely change it here. Mason saying in the chat, come on, Vintage, recover some points for the Haas team. Currently, your boy is actually currently in P10, and how many times am I going to say currently before I currently make the current message? But one thing I am seeing though as well, actually, Chappers, I almost messed up your name once again there. I'm so sorry.
Don't worry about it.
Is that just like near the beginning of qualifying, coming down to the final third and close to the final quarter of the race, Alfa Romeo's on top.
Yep, they are. It's a pretty solid result for these guys if it can stay this way, but Carnage Achilles is on extremely old soft tyres really for this track in my opinion. It would be a... Surely he can't make it to the end on these. He can't.
Well,
There's no way.
I'm just gonna let you know, I'm looking at the Constructors' Championship after round 5. Currently, Red Bull are leading it with 96 points and Ferrari with 94. Alfa Romeo is in third with 74 points, and we could be seeing a 3-team deficit march to the end of the season now, as if it stays like this, Alfa Romeo will be gaining some crucial points, as Guitar Man Khan could be making the move ahead of Monster in the Drivers' Championship, and closing the gap between him and Craigie, as the championship leader of Craigie is currently out of this race.
Big points for Tom Khan's championship as well, especially as you said with Monster down in P10 picking up minimal points, although he has just gone and put in the fastest lap of the race as Monster, so...
Well, we're actually going to see the times that these drivers are setting here as we go on board with Qatar Khan and see exactly what he is facing here. Of course, the G-forces are going to be high into those sweeping corners, but is also going to be a little bit tough for the driver's arms, because you're trying to fight against the car having any sort of understeer or oversteer, and especially with a track like this, where those quick elevation changes, those quick corners that you need to act with serious reaction times, and also trying to keep the momentum as well, as we said before, makes it one of the most difficult tracks on the calendar. And so far so good for Qatar Khan, leading the race with his teammate of Carnage in second, and we could be potentially seeing a late come up with an Alfa Romeo driver, as if you do remember actually, Chappers, last season, well, actually, no, you're pretty new, actually. Last season, actually, where we saw AFS and Natty in the Alfa Romeo come home with the championship trophy as he made the promotion up to Division 2. So we could be seeing a Alfa Romeo comeback, potentially, for both the Constructors and the Drivers' Championship for Qatar Man Khan. Knock knock, Chappers, you there?
Yeah, hello, yeah, sorry about that, bit of a technical issue, but yeah, it will definitely change everything up, as it'll be great for Qatar Match Championship. And it just changes everything up with a few rounds to go, so... There's only, there's 4 rounds to go after this, maybe, I think?
I'm going to actually quickly check for us so you guys can get the full race calendar. So, of course, we are here for round 6 at Netherlands for the Dutch Grand Prix. After this, we're going to be having 4 races left in the season. We'll be having round 7 at China, round 8 in the USA, not at the Miami Grand Prix, of course, that's going to be in F122. Then we'll be at Imola for round 9, and then rounding it off, round 10 at the Desert of Bahrain.
That'll be a good little lineup of 4 tracks there, in my opinion. The last 3 I quite like. I think they're very good tracks. China, on my day, I can drive it quite well, but when I'm not up to scratch, it's pretty difficult. But yeah, good selection of tracks there for sure to round the season off.
Well, what would you say is your top 3 most difficult tracks to race?
Oh, that's a tough one. I would probably say Canada's up there. I'm not a fan of Canada. It's hard to say really. Let me just get the full calendar up and I'll be able to see it better.
Well, I'm just talking about tracks in general. It doesn't have to be the current tracks. As we also saw Paige move up to P8 on her new set of softs off of Vintage. Mark 7 God having himself a good battle against Tita Silva for P5 as their gap starts to decrease corner after corner as the gap now is around 6 tenths. Oh, is actually increasing, I should say. Oh, nope, 5 tenths. Back
I
up
would
to is separating
probably,
between 5 and 6 tenths. But yep, Chappers.
I would probably say it will be Canada, Singapore, and Suzuka are my probably most difficult tracks.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I would
For
say that.
for me, my most difficult tracks, in my opinion, would have to say my worst track to drive at is Zandvoort. I am so bad at this track, I cannot get to grips of Zandvoort. My second most difficult one is going to have to be Singapore, and my third one is a bit of a tough one, actually. Um, and this actually could shock a lot of people as we see Mark 7 God trying to get the switchback on Tita Silva, trying to squeeze onto the inside on the exit, couldn't really find the gap, but Tita Silva has actually been doing very, very well, near enough half ERS for the Ferrari, as Mark 7 God is already having the blinking red lights coming into corners. But if I would say one of my most difficult tracks of well, my third most difficult track, which is actually going to shock a lot of people, is actually going to be Portimao, and I'm
Uh,
gonna and it is my favorite track. Like, it's my favorite track. It's my home Grand Prix technically, and I do pretty well in most cases of like in league racing. But if you look behind the scenes, which a lot of people don't because I don't stream that much, I make so many spins. So I think when I'm actually under pressure at Portimao, I provide. But honestly, usually one of my most difficult tracks when it comes down to me playing offline, as Guitar Man Khan actually goes into the pit lane for a new set of softs, and that could be giving a huge indicator to some of these drivers on their old set of mediums to say potentially it will be time to go into the pit lane. And Carnage actually currently out there on 19 lap set of softs.
those
Now
softs
that
are
is a
gonna be
man on a mission.
screaming. Those tires are gonna be screaming. Although I've
Exactly.
noticed the Page is actually pitted onto a fresh set of softs a couple of laps ago. I don't know whether we mentioned it, but
Yeah, I said that
he
she
gets
made the move
pitted.
on Vintage on her new set of softs.
That's it. Yeah. So hopefully
But
Paige can move up the order slightly, but she has got a pretty big gap now to Tita Silva in 5th, so it's going to be difficult for her to make that gap up, although Tita Silva has got 17 lap old mediums on his car, on his Ferrari, so
well,
that's
we're actually gonna go on board actually with Carnage here. And honestly, you can actually see the tire wear line on those set of softs and those extra bits of rubber that's been stretched off of the tires as he now makes the decision to go into the pit lane. Bubbers will now be taking the race lead here for Mercedes, as I think this could be a very good result because those hearts can definitely last until the end of the race, as Light Sessa now makes his way up to P2 and Guitarman Khan back into the podium positions, with Tita Silva actually currently he could actually be in the podium positions. As for the time penalties, Guitarman Khan currently with 5 seconds of time penalties, as well as Chaos Druid on 3, Mellow Space on 5, and Panaman Gaming on 3 seconds. So Tita Silva is technically in the podium positions, as we now see Monster and Vintage have themselves a battle around turn 1 and 2, and Monster now back up to P7.
great, great little recovery there from Monster with a few laps remaining. Maybe he can try and push up the order a little bit more, but it's a big ask with a lot of the drivers in front of him, a few of the drivers in front of him being on a lot fresher tyres, but in the actual range that he can reach without barring anything happens. But like I say, the guy in the front, Bubbers, has got 17 lap hold hards, Light Sessor 13 lap hold mediums, and then Tita Silver in 4th with 18 lap hold mediums. So the way it's looking, I don't know if he can gain any more positions. Maybe he can. Maybe there'll be more life in those mediums than I realise. But
Well,
it's a
we're gonna
big
have to
ask
wait
for him
and
to move
see.
up.
we're gonna have to wait and see as Tita Silva is now without like out of that 5 second gap of Tita Silva of Guitarman Khan, now 6 seconds, and Guitarman Khan is now technically in the podium positions now after after the time penalties will be served. He is now looking on the tail end of Light Sesso, and Chappers, can you actually give us a brief thing? So currently, Guitarman Khan has actually just set the fastest lap of the race with a 112.3. What is the times currently with Light Sesso, and how much is Guitarman Khan actually gaining? And actually, before you say that, before I say anything, it doesn't matter. Light Sesso spins around turn 10 and has reset the track as well. So that's going to have to go down with the stewards after that one, as that is a big no-go here in Prospects, as Light Sesso now could be out of contention of podium positions, as Tita Silva now could be gaining it back once the stewards make their decision.
To be fair, Tita Silva here could get second if he can stay within the range of Guitarman Khan.
Well, he's currently out of contention for that. Tita Silva's going to have to gain some sort of laps, because Guitarman Khan currently with the fastest lap, as he just said.
Fresh softs.
Fresh softs as well, and those can definitely reach until the end.
For sure, yeah.
Do we think that Bubbers is now going to be in a tough predicament against Guitarman Khan? As if you do remember, Bubbers on a 19-lap-old set of hards, where Guitarman Khan is on a fresh new set of softs. Do you think that he could potentially catch back up and also come home with the win? He's going to have to gain 9 seconds at the end of the day.
I don't think that will be enough with the amount of laps we've got remaining. Maybe he'll catch up to Bubbers and just get ahead of him, but I think he won't be able to bridge 9 seconds in that. And I've also seen on Bubba's sector times, he is pretty much on his personal best times. Those hards haven't really lost the pace that he's had on them, but I am going to check Bubba's time as he crosses the line compared to Guitarman's, just so we can see the difference in times. Bubba's with a 14.1, Guitarman with a 13.1.
So he's gaining around a second each lap there. Definitely not as good as his fastest lap of a 112.3. But of course, Guitarman Khan, he's actually really trying to find the space here, as we actually just missed it actually. Carnage is actually now up ahead of Tita Silva, so Carnage has been playing the team role here absolutely beautifully. Tita Silva with a more wider exit corner line around turn 4 could be getting a lot more momentum into this corner, but it's actually going to be Carnage to still pull away, as he actually had to pull the ace out of his sleeve, use that ERS to get away from Tita Silva. But I think my mic is glitching out. Sorry about that.
No problem. It wasn't on my end, so that's.
I just heard a little bit of a delay, so I think I'm getting a little bit of a DC. But with 5 laps left to go now, will be 4 laps once Bubbers crosses the line. We got to start talking about drivers of the day here.
It's a difficult one to say, really. Depends on, well, a lot of factors could be involved. Position gain, time management, everything really.
Do you know who I'm gonna say actually?
Go on.
It's gonna be one of 2 drivers. One, Bubbers. He's currently on a one-stop strategy, where he's leading the race on old set of hards, making that long stint work, especially after all of these safety cars and virtuals. So he could be up for driver of the day, as he is actually currently, if I quickly check in the standings, Bubbers is currently in P9, same amount of points as his teammate of Page, so he'll be moving up above Page, and also the Mercedes team will be actually moving ahead of the Williams and potentially even the AlphaTauri team after today's results. So Bubbers could be quite up there. Carnage as well, making those 19-lap-old set of softs to not double stack with his teammate of Guitarman Khan to get him back into the podium positions as well. and you can actually see very close to a puncture for those set of tires. We could also say the same with T. De Silva, who started near the back due to a disconnect in qualifying. Same with Paige, who started in last, doing her normal strategy, doing an exceptionally well, defending against some of the top position drivers in the championship as well. Currently going to be fending off against Monster in the dying moments of this race. So there's quite a bit of people, but so far for me, I'm going to have to go with Bubbers on top.
Yeah, I will say Burrows also did qualify in 10th, which is also quite impressive as well. So, very impressive drive for Bubbers, and I'm pretty sure if things continue the way they're going, he will secure this win because Guitar Man will more than likely overtake him. But with Guitar Man's penalty, I don't think it's going to be enough for him to win this race today. But there's still a couple of laps to go, so anything can happen.
No, I actually have a good question for you actually here, Chappers. If you were in Bubber's shoes right now, you see that the driver behind you has a time penalty, he's on a new set of softs, and you're on an old set of hards. Do you defend for the position, or do you actually give the position away and just stay within that 5-second gap coming to the end? And there's only 2 laps left. What would you say will be the best call here for Bubbers?
I would probably say to him, if there's enough of a gap, maybe just try and defend into turn 1, but if worse comes to show and Guitar Man is a bit quicker, I would let him through, but I would also be kind of evaluating the gap change as I come across the line each lap leading up to this point now. I'll be evaluating the gap change each lap and then I will be able to determine how much further ahead he'll be when I cross the line, and if I know it will be enough or not. So if he's gaining by 0.8 each lap, and then he overtakes me with 2 laps to go, I'll know that roughly he'll be in between 1.6 and 2 seconds ahead of me when we cross the line, which I know will be enough. So in that situation, I would just let him through. I wouldn't bother to try and defend it, because it's like you're risking a potential crash for no reason. You're going to win, more than likely win anyway, so...
Well,
I think right now,
go ahead.
Bubbers will let through Guitar Man, because he will know that Guitar Man's not going to gain 5 seconds in a lap. It just won't happen. It's impossible, really, unless Bubbers has a huge moment, which I don't think he will. I think he will now just try and bring this car home and not do anything stupid. He could cruise home across the line and he'd still be within 5 seconds of Guitar Man, in my opinion.
Well, so far he's doing very well. Guitar Man Khan has actually just made the move on the final lap, but so far both of them with blinking red lights due to the depletion of the ERS. Guitar Man Khan will be collecting the checker flag first, but it'll be snatched out of his hands towards Bubbers if it stays like this. Almost having an incident there for Bubbers as he takes a little bit too much of that curb, having a really slow line here as he's going to be taking it very, very easy around these final few corners. One more sector left to go for both of these drivers. Guitar Man Khan has done extremely well here today, gone on a new set of softs, got the fastest lap, will be bagging in the extra point as he comes across the line, as he's going to be taking the checker flag first. But ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Bubbers as he's going to cross the line second, but will be moved up to first place with the time penalty and take the win here at Zandvoort for the Dutch Grand Prix, Round 6, Season 6 of the PlayStation Division of Prospects eRacing League. Absolutely extraordinary. Light says so, finishes off on the podium. Carnage just misses out as Monster has crashed out on the final lap. Same goes with Mark 7 God as they're both out of the race. Finish will now come across the line in P7. Mellow Space will finish in P8. Tilmo could be finishing in P9, but Panaman actually getting points here today, as it did not look very likely here. And a huge upset at the end, as both Mark 7 God and Monster are now completely out of the race and will be out of the points.
What has just happened?
Wow!
Whoa.
Wow!
Oh, no.
They have got to be banging their heads against the $50,000 wheel that they have in that Formula 1 car. Wow! Mark 7 God leaves in pure distraught as Panda Man will now be coming across the line for P10 and points. Not what we would actually have expected here today. Due to his position and his performance been a little bit slow. Did very well in the set hards, don't get me wrong, but right now did not look like it. But he's gonna cross the line for P10. But ladies and gentlemen, it's gonna be Bubbers to take the race win and bring home some crucial points for the Mercedes as they now go on top of both. Wait for it, ladies and gentlemen, as I'm trying to find it. The AlphaTauri and the Williams team. Wow. What an ending, what a beginning. Absolutely one to remember here in prospects for round 6, as it's going to be Bubbers to take the top step for the Mercedes team. Absolutely extraordinary here today. Qatar Mankan will just miss out. However, he's going to be pushing even closer for towards the Drivers' Championship as he now surpasses Monster to move up to P2 and very close on the tail of Craigie coming down towards Season 6, Round 7. Absolutely extraordinary, would you say, Chappers? Bubbers, clear driver of the day.
Totally, Bubbers, in my eyes, is definitely driver of the day. What a drive. Fair play to the man. Phenomenal.
Honestly, one to watch, and I'm actually going to quickly see if we can actually get to hear from the podium drivers themselves. Just waiting to see if they will reply. I will let you guys know of that, but honestly, absolutely extraordinary. What a race is going to be the Canadian driver of Bubbers to come across with the race win. Absolutely loved it. But ladies and gentlemen, just bear right with us. As I'm trying to message them right now. Alright, so we're going to be hearing from our P3 finisher. I'm still waiting on Bubbers and Qatar Mankan, so give me a quick second, guys. Chappers, do you mind helping me get them in and get them added to the chat? So I need Light Sesso, Bubbers, as well as Guitar Man Khan. Light Sesso, Bubbers. Oh, actually, I just got them. Yep, just got all 3 of them. Cannot add one or more players because of their settings.
Right, okay, that's a... Right, which one is it?
So, I don't know who it was that couldn't join. Yeah, it's Guitar, and it's due to his settings. I need him to add me.
I don't know whether he's got me added. I don't know.
Well, I'm gonna quickly see if I can get him real quick. Give me a quick second, guys. Okay, you're able to add him in? You can't add him?
He might have been able to.
That was Light Sesu. Let me, see. Hold on, give me a quick second. Just bear with, right with us, ladies and gentlemen. Here, let me, try and get him in now. Let me see, where is he? You got him in? I can't get him in.
He's in the chat.
Okay, beautiful. So there's Guitar Man, there's Light Sesso. We're still waiting on our race winner of Bubbers. But before we actually start, Light Sesso, Guitar Man, can you please check your party chat settings to see if your voice is allowed to be shared so the people back at home can hear your beautiful voices? I hear you, but we need to see if the people back at home can hear you. So, if you check your party settings.
On the party settings. Party audio settings on the party screen home.
Alright. Remember, we're live, guys.
Alright, sorry. I think I'm good now.
Okay. Well, I actually just looked in the chat. Bubbers has actually said first that he would like to thank his mom. Without her, he wouldn't be here. Next, he wants to thank his fans for always believing in him, and when you dream big, anything is possible. Quoting from Lewis Hamilton in the Mercedes. So, love to see that, Bubs. And he said, knows that he's gone already. He had to go. No worries, Bubs. Congratulations on your race win. Absolutely extraordinary. We're going to be hearing first from our P3 finisher of Light Sesso. Light, how you doing, my man?
Great, actually. I had on the first couple of laps, I got like damage over for 2 times, and then a safety car came in, and then I pitted again. I pitted like 5 times or 4 times, and then I got consistent with my lap times, and then I catched the leaders. But at the end I spun. But P4 was catching me, but I still hold on P3.
Well, honestly, did an exceptional job. When you saw those safety cars out there, did you really see you would be back into the podium, or did you see that your race is going to be a lot more difficult with those safety cars on the track?
Yes, actually, the last safety car when I crashed, I first crashed, and then I pitted, and then after I got out of the pits, the safety car came out, and then I got hope, and then I became consistent and catch the guys, and it actually was a good race at the end.
Absolutely extraordinary. Chappers, do you have any questions for our podium finisher of Light Sesso?
I don't. I just want to say well done, Light Sesso. Phenomenal drive, and keep it up, man.
Thanks, guys.
And you're currently in P10 in the championship. Do you see yourself moving your way up towards maybe even P7 or P6 potentially at the end of the season? What was your opinions on that?
Actually, at the first of the season, I was fighting with Craigie, but then Guitar Mancon came and shuttered me out because he's so fast. But I got a race ban, and that shuttered my hopes of getting the championship actually. And then it became so much worse in the last couple of races. But after this finish, I think I'm gonna get like P5, P4, hopefully.
Well, did an exceptional job. Absolutely extraordinary. Congratulations on your P2. We're now going to be heading over to Guitar Man Con, representing Alfa Romeo here today. Guitar Man Con, absolutely extraordinary drive. How are you able to get those fast times from qualifying and carry that momentum onto the race?
Well, I really don't know. I really don't know. Just try to put in laps and put your head down and get in the rain.
Honestly, what was your first impressions of the track? Like, did you like it out there? Was it difficult?
I naturally like the Zanvo track, but I had the pole. I had a bad start off the line, and then going into turn 1, someone got into me in the rear. However, just try to put my head down and race, pumping some laps, and try to recover.
Actually, that was me.
Oh, that was you? Oh my goodness!
I'm sorry.
Well, honestly, because remember, when it comes to racing, it's not how you start the race, it's how you finish, and you two finished on top. Absolutely extraordinary. One more question I have for you, Guitar Mankind, before I move it on to Chappers. When it came down to that crucial pit stop where you unfortunately got that 5-second time penalty,
oh my goodness.
Did you believe that your race was completely over at that point? Did you even think you would go back up towards P2?
No, I actually know on the softs I would really pump in the laps, but yeah, that 5 second, I knew I would have get back up to P1, but that 5 second penalty just ruined me. I really wanted the win, but mistakes happen. Going into the pit lane, I was focused on something else, I was watching the times, I was watching everything else, and I missed my braking point going into the pit lane and just had no control over that.
Well, you still came across with P2, so congratulations, my man. Chappers, do you have any questions
Yeah,
for our podium finishers?
I just want to ask you, Guitar Man, you were 5 points behind Monster coming into this round, and now with 4 rounds to go, you've gained a lot of points, and I believe you will now have overtaken Monster, and you're now P2 in the championship. And
yeah,
also,
for sure.
Craigie didn't finish today, so you've gained a lot of points on both of them. So, what are your thoughts coming into the last four races of the season?
Just put my head down, pumping some laps. My pace is quite good. In the not really China. I don't really like China so much, but the rest of tracks, I love Imola, I love Kota, and I love Bahrain. So
So it
probably
seems like
gonna
you're
make up.
feeling
Yeah,
pretty confident then coming into especially the last three
I
rounds.
want to get promoted back to tier two, bro. I squandered it last season, and next season I want to be back fighting in tier two, and I really want to get back fighting hard, going up even to tier one.
Well,
Well, you've
if
got
you
great ambitions, and I'm sure you're going to get there. So well done today. Great qualifying, getting on pole, and another great race for you. Just a shame you got the
Yeah.
5 second penalty, but
Yes,
well done, man. Great race.
those things happen, man.
now for both of you guys, I have one more question actually for both of you. Light Sesto, if you're still here, you have any messages for the people back at home?
Believe in me, I will try and still get P3 in the podium, in the championship, and I will try. Thanks.
And for you, Guitar Man Khan, now in P2 of the championship, you have any messages for anyone back at home?
Um, I just gonna keep fighting and hopefully try to win the championship. Craigie's a good racer. He was really on my tail, and I was watching him in my rear mirror, and I saw him spun out, and I was like, some sigh of release, because he was on some fresh mediums, and I was on some old mediums. So that was a relief. Sorry for him, but yeah, this battle with Craig is gonna go down to the wire, I think.
Well, hopefully we actually see that, and we can actually have a recreation of the 2021 season where we saw same points at the
Oh.
final race. We might be able to see that if we do see that. Clip this in the video. But ladies and gentlemen, that is where we're gonna leave it. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys so much for coming in for Prospects eRacing League here for the PlayStation Tier 3 Round 6 of the Dutch Grand Prix. We'll be here back next week for China for Tier 1, 2, and 3 of PlayStation, but also we have Xbox tomorrow and the Academy on Friday, so cue into those. Again, Chappers, thank you so much for coming in for
Pleasure.
commentary, as always. Love to have you.
I
And
love to watch you guys back over, man. I watch it over. Like, it's really fantastic.
Appreciate it.
appreciate it, my man. We always look to impress. Especially
Yeah, you
Chappers. He always
guys.
impresses me, makes me blush in the comms box.
Nah, it's all good, man. You guys, I look forward to watching over my races.
Well, until next time, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to be it for me and Chappers. Lots of love, and stay safe, everybody.
You.